Hey y'all, hey, it's Coach April. Thank you for stopping by. If you are new, welcome. If you're an oldie but goodie, hey there. Again, thanks for stopping by my channel where we talk all things health, wellness, wealth, all things that relate to you stewarding your temple and you living the best kingdom life that you can that God has planned for you. So, today we're going to talk about a sensitive subject, right? Because I know that we love like the sweet things, right? I hear people say all the time that I have a sweet tooth, and it's actually interesting because God actually told me to stop saying that, to stop confessing that I have a sweet tooth. So, yes, I like sweet things just as much as the next person. However, I don't allow those things to have control over me. So, you might be thinking, okay, Coach April, what does that really mean? Can I not have this, or can I not have that, or can I not have this? And what I would like for you to do is reframe your thinking, not what you can't have, but think about the things that you can have. And so, one of the things that is a tremendous killer to your weight loss and wellness journey is da, 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 you've guessed it, or if you didn't guess it, it is sugar. And more importantly, refined processed sugar. So, now if you know anything about sugar, you might know that in its original form, it's not white, right? So original like cane sugar, where it is not processed and things like that, it has more of a brownish color. And you'll see now more people offering, like in restaurants and things like that, sugar in the raw or raw sugar, which is still sugar and it could still have, some interesting effects on your body if consumed too much, but it's definitely better than raw white processed sugar that is not really good for your body. So, sugar isn't everything. Let's start there. Sugar isn't everything. So, I know in one of my previous videos, I was talking about the importance of looking at your labels, seeing what the ingredients are. When you look at many ingredients and you look at many labels, you will see that sugar is the number one um, ingredient, especially in drinks. And you'll see that it is a high content. So I was looking at a bottle of Dr. Pepper the other day, and it had a whopping 65 grams of sugar in a 20-ounce bottle. 65 grams. I was like, whoa, that is enough to take anybody off of your journey, especially consumed often. Now, I know we get into a lot of the things, especially from a biblical perspective, like all things in moderation. And my response to that typically is moderation is not our issue. It's the overconsumption or the excess that usually is our issue. So if you're having a Dr. Pepper once a month, okay, that might be in moderation. But if you're having one even every week, that in addition to the other things that you're having, that could be a lot for your body to consume. The CDC is projecting that over 50% of Americans will be obese by the year 2030. We're in year 2025. And so if you're watching this video later on down the road, just think about where the potential for our society to go. Now, when we think about consumption of sugar, that's also some drastic numbers. Now, there are studies that have been done that says like in the 1980s, we were consuming like 18 pounds of sugar per year. In the 1900s, do you know how much that increased? It increased to like 90 pounds of sugar per year, right? That's a toddler, right? A adolescent, maybe not a toddler, maybe not 90 pounds of a toddler, but it depends upon your toddler, right? Or what the age is. But 90 pounds of sugar in a year, that is a lot. And then when we fast forward to like the 2000s, we're consuming 150 pounds in some studies. So some studies say between 130 and 150 pounds of sugar per year. That's a whole person, you guys. Like that's how much sugar we are consuming because consumer good companies, they put it in everything from your breads to your drinks to your chips to like your even some like the vegetables, the sauces, like all of the things has a high sugar content in it. So I'm here to say sugar ain't that sweet. You are much sweeter than sugar, and your body and how it processes and break it down is really important because it leads to other like chronic diseases like cardiovascular issues and like insulin resistance issues and things like that. And I can maybe break some of those things down in another video. Again, this is not any kind of medical advice, but it is definitely something to caution us about what are we doing to our temples? What are we stewarding our temples with? When we think about our breakfast time, muffins, and we're not just talking about like high calorie or caloric items. We're talking about like what are the ingredients in them that's really going to help our bodies. And we think about the drinks, the juices, the processed drinks that we're giving even ourselves or our children's, from the sodas or the pops, depending on where you're from, to the drink boxes. And I won't call out any names on, well, I guess I will because I've already talked about Dr. Pepper, but we think about our Capri Suns and our High Seas this, and like all of those things are laden with sugar, and it is very harmful for your body, not to mention causing cavities and like all of the things like that. But it is really breaking down your resistance to like if you fight off closer your oh my goodness, I just like had a your I just had a brain freeze right now. Um though it'll come back to me, but it is breaking down your ability to fight off colds and things like that. It's causing like inflammation in your body. Immune system. That's the word I was thinking of. Your immune system, right? So sugar is like having an effect on your immune system and you being able to fight off like different things like that. It is causing and wreaking havoc to like inflammation in your body and increasing in that particular way. So I'm here to say the sugar ain't that sweet. There are definitely some alternatives to sugar, to processed sugar. However, the more natural the sweetener is, the better. So things that God created, I definitely am more of a proponent of that. So like your natural unprocessed honeys, which we still have to be careful about that because they still can spike like blood sugar levels, but they're more natural and they're definitely better for you. Like raw honey is definitely better than the processed honey that come in a little packets, things like that, or that you might find at the grocery store. Maple syrup, again, that is like not processed, that doesn't have any added sugar, is definitely a better alternative. A monk fruit, things like that are better alternatives because they're natural and they're coming from things that God created. So those would be the things that I would say kind of lean more towards instead of your processed white sugar. Now, I did bring in a visual for you guys because the average American, I know we talked about like consumption on a yearly basis, but even if we think about from like a daily basis, it's probably about like 17 teaspoons of sugar per day. Now that's a lot. Can you just imagine like putting 17 teaspoons of sugar in your coffee or in your tea, or some people put it in their cereal or in their oatmeal or like whatever it is, 17 teaspoons. That's enough to make you like sick, right? So the CDC, they recommend that you use about like 5 to 6 teaspoons per day. That is the Center for Disease Control. That's their like recommendation. Now, I'm giving you guys a visual. This is about can you see that? Make sure that you can see that. Can you see that? This is about like 5 to 6 teaspoons, maybe a little bit less than maybe about 4 to 6 teaspoons of sugar. And I know that it looks white, but it's actually not sugar. This is actually xylitol, which is another alternative to sugar. And maybe I'll talk about that in another video. So you guys drop a comment before and let me know if you want me to talk about some sugar alternatives or go a little bit deeper into those because I'm happy to do that as well. But xylitol is a sugar alcohol. There's lots of debate about xylitol as well and sugar alternatives, etc. Many people think like the most natural thing again that God created. I'm on board with that as well, but I do think that there could be a place for like other alternatives, definitely better than your white processed sugar. So I'm always going to be, against that. Anytime we're in a restaurant, you should see me and my mom. I'm like, I'm hiding the sugar from her. If we can get, sugar in the raw, then that is definitely better. But other alternatives like stevia, things like that can be okay, but you still have to watch the ingredients in those as well because sometimes some companies they add fillers or they add other things, and the stevia is not the main source, so it's not the first ingredient. So we still have to check our labels, you guys. We still have to check our labels, but um, yes, we should not be consuming that much. 17 grams of sugar to 19 grams per sugar a day is a lot, and it could cause your body to um, wreak havoc. And so, my recommendation is to use sweeteners that are more natural, that God created, like your honeys and your maple syrups and things like that. Again, not processed, so we have to be careful of the brands, and we have to be careful of again of the ingredients. But when you are going to consume your next favorite drink or beverage, think about how much sugar you are consuming. When you are going to eat your next pastry or cupcake or whatever, think about how much sugar you are consuming. Think about what it's going to look like in a year. Are you going to consume person in pounds of sugar? And this is in the unit S that I am giving these statistics, but I did do some research, y'all, and it's some other countries are, up there with the United States as well. So, let's talk about this. I do have, so the US in this particular study, their intake was about 126 grams of sugar. That was I think that was on a weekly basis. But Germany came in a quick second at 102 or 103 grams of sugar. I think this is on a weekly basis. Does that add up right? I mean, different studies are coming up with different things. So if it's about 20 grams times 20 grams times 7, that's 140. And they said about like 17 grams. So yeah, that's probably about over a week's time. The Netherlands, 102 grams. Ireland, 97 grams. Australia, 96. Belgium, 95. The UK, 93. Mexico, 92.5. Canada, 89. Finland, 91 to 92 grams. And Brazil, about 86 grams. So again, that is, oh no, that is per day. That was not per week, but those are grams per day, which equals about 30-ish teaspoons. So again, on average, about 17 to 19 grams, but upwards of like 30 grams, depending upon who is doing, the study. So it does vary, but the point is we are consuming like way too much sugar and it ain't that sweet. You are sweet enough. And so the next time that you are consuming your favorite bread or soup or beverage or whatever, as I said before, think about how much sugar you're consuming. Think about what you're putting in your body. Again, your body is the temple of God. It is up to you to steward it in the best way possible. You are only given one, so take care of it. So until the next time, beloved, it's Coach April. Do me a favor and smash that subscribe button so that you will know when we release all the videos. The notification bell will definitely let you know that. And then like and comment below. Let me know what you think you consume in sugar on a daily basis, a weekly basis, or if you think that you're in that category of consuming like a whole person of up to 150 pounds of sugar per year. So that is like way too much. So my encouragement into you today is to think about some other more natural alternatives to sugar. And I will see you in the next video. So again, if this content was helpful for you, I want you to smash that like button, the subscribe button, and then also comment below, turn on your notifications so that you'll know the next time we release a video. Coach April, and I am out. I'll see you next time. Bye.